Assalamualaikum and welcome to another episode of Young and Gifted on Sky Channel 827, 18 Bangla. I hope everyone's been well since our last show. Now, I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago we had discussed this whole youth issue and how us as a community needed to do more to enable our youth to progress, not just in education, but in whatever discipline that they wanted to further their careers or further their aspirations in. And it was one of those topics that I know myself and Mahbub, my co-host, we felt passionate about because there's certain areas, for example, within our youth where certain professions they're just not able to get into.
That's correct.
Often it is. I guess you get institutional racism.
Yep.
For example, football. For example, how many Asian players do you have in the Premier League or League One, police force? In certain other sort of professions as well, where yes, there is some sort of a stumbling block or some sort of hurdle. But obviously, what we wanted to further expand on in today's show was the whole idea where, and this is something that we touched upon back then as well, is that our youth at the moment
they need help.
They need help. In general terms, a lot of them are off the rails. And where we don't give them an option or support or opportunity to do something to utilize that time effectively and efficiently, what happens is that they'll go and do something nonsense and they'll go and commit crimes.
It was what we were talking about recently, where a lot of children are out on the streets after hours, unruly behaviour, getting antisocial behaviour orders, taking drugs, dealing drugs, just causing a nuisance to the general public. You see it everywhere you go.
Of course. And
newspapers labelled them as feral youths, essentially.
And if you look at, for example, the Asian or the Muslim youth numbers or prisoner numbers, for example, in the UK,
disproportionately high
compared to the numbers we have actually, living in the UK. So what is the reason for that? And this is something that I'd like to point, maybe ask the viewers here today. Give us a call, inshallah. The student number should be running across the screen. The number 0203 397 4740 is that for example, our mosques, they're supposed to be here as a community hub where, if, for example, if you needed a problem, if I need a problem, that should be the first point of call where we should be able to go there and address and get our problems addressed. Are they serving that point?
It's not just the mosque as well. I mean, I grew up in Essex, Canvey Island. Come the weekend, every single child are taking them to football, Sunday league football on the park. What are the absolutely. What are the parents doing around here?
Paying attention to them,
yeah, absolutely. Like parents aren't. There's not enough Asian parents encouraging their children to do after-school activities, whatever it may be. Going to boxing classes, going to for Sunday league football. Gymnasiums or whatever it may be. Whereas when you look at places outside of London, people are encouraging their children to do things. Is this an Asian parent mentality?
Yeah, is this an Asian problem? Now, on that point, inshallah, just before I do go and introduce our guest, we'd like to show you a short clip from a certain individuals and a certain group of football players that we'd like to basically talk to. But just before we get to them, inshallah, just watch this clip. Who's the extremist guy on the right?
To be a man in Nigeria.
Now, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the clip there. That was a clip of one of the final games, or one of the finals that Manor FC basically played in. And I don't know if you can probably see from the screen there, we've got a few cups here from Manor FC, and I think it's the perfect time to inshallah introduce our guests here. So on my immediate left, I've got Scott Auld, one of the players of Manor FC. I've then got Mohammed Ridwan. I've got the Coach Carter, Hassar Ali, and I've got Hassan Ali on my far right. So thank you for coming today's show. If I can start firstly with Hassar Ali, you're the coach here. How long ago did you start Manor FC, and what was your intention or your inspiration behind this?
Manor FC, by the way, I just wanted to say thank you for inviting us to the studio. And I think it's always important that we not only just talk about football, but also talk about the sort of the other aspects of football.
Of course.
Why do we get sort of youth players involved in sort of playing football? One of the aims of my sort of involvement, if you like, is when I remember going back in sort of 2006 when I wanted to play as a youth player. I sort of got told that I couldn't play in certain positions, or doors were shut on me because the fact that I was either Asian or I come from sort of an area where it wasn't sort of, football wasn't promoted or popular. Now, for me, when I look back and I thought, well, hold on, if this is the treatment I'm getting, I'm actually going to go and create something of my own. And I had sort of brothers, Maruf, Shaifur and Kashim and a few other brothers that supported me within the community. And believe it or not, the first sort of funding we got was from a company called the sort of Christian charity organisation.
Right.
It's called Go For It Grant, also part of NEOM. And we got given the money, and I thought, okay, rather than me spending the money in a way where it's not going to support or sort of affect the community, we're going to start football.
Now, generally with football, for example, especially with Asian parents, it's like you can't make a career of it. Just play it on Saturday, Sunday, kick the ball, go to the park to kick around. What sort of hurdles did you face in the first instance, maybe trying to persuade these Asian parents to give their kids and get involved?
Difficult, seriously difficult. At the moment, if I sort of tell you our current structure, so we've got a senior team that plays in the sort of adult league. We've got Manor FC Youth. And also we
that's what under
16s.
Under 16s, okay.
Well, they're sort of college at the moment, but under 16.
Okay.
And we also have a junior team, so sort of 16 to 21. And then we've just recently started an under 12s team, but we also have under 12, so from 12 to 16. So you can see there's a progression there for the players. The problem I have, this is and this is from sort of observations, either other clubs, but also mainly our club, where when I set tournaments or competitions for the youth team, especially the under 12s, believe it or not, if I've got sort of, I would say out of the 10, 15 players, you only get a handful of parents coming to support the players.
That was the next question. That was the next question that I was going to ask you. What kind of support do you get from the parents, or what kind of feedback do you get?
Literally none. I have to phone up the parents, call them up, tell them to come and support the players, and the amount of times, Scott at the end here, his dad's fantastic. He always brings to the matches.
I was going to ask, what part of Bangladesh is he from?
You don't know that yet. Check his passport.
We need to check that.
But again, of course there are issues. There are sort of childcare issues. I'm a single parent myself, so I can understand the frustration and the commitment we parents have. But I think it's also very important, if you want your child to break it through to the mainstream, believe it or not, it's not, a lot of people say it's to do with religion, it's to do with colour, but of course it is. We're going to have these issues. But as parents, you have to push them, regardless.
We'll discuss breaking into the mainstream shortly, because obviously that's only a very few and far between that do that. What we're looking at here is doing something for the children that essentially keeps them off the streets, that uses up their energy that would otherwise be spent, I don't know, throwing bricks at cars or something, setting fire to things.
And maybe, at this point, if we ask, I guess, Scott here, how long have you been playing for Manor FC? Or football, just generally?
In general, I've been playing for football for about just under 14 years.
Okay.
I mean, I've literally, just as I was little as well, it's like 2-3 years.
Kicking a ball from then,
just
yeah?
literally kicking a ball. You know, I've been taught by my brother and my dad. So ever since, I've been mostly football. Like, I would go to school with my mates, and then straight away at break time, that's the first thing we think about is football.
Yeah.
I live and breathe football. That is me. I'm all about football.
And you had full support from your parents?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've always been there all the time. My mum and dad, they've always come to the matches, and my dad's always taken me out of London if I need to go there. I've been out of London countless times to go to the matches, but.
And maybe if we ask the same question, how long have you been playing football?
I've been playing football, I would say 8 years.
For 8 years?
8 years, right.
And generally speaking, I mean, theoretically speaking, if you hadn't been in football, and if, for example, Man FC weren't there for you and, you know, coaching you every Saturday, playing every Sunday, or, you know, because I think one thing, and I'll come back to you on this, is the whole issue of discipline, because it's not just about football playing for the sake of playing and winning a game, but it's also about the discipline. If you hadn't been playing football, and if you what do you reckon you'd be doing?
Messing about on the roads, probably go out with friends, waste time.
But, I mean, what do your friends do? The ones that don't play football, if you don't mind asking.
I mean, this is generally speaking, obviously.
They don't really do the good things, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Do you find that they waste a lot of time?
Definitely.
Yeah. Just on that point, inshallah. Again, I'd like to invite our viewers who are watching. Give us a call. It's the studio number 0203 397 4740. Perhaps when you're a parent, you want your children to get involved. You just don't know where the avenues are or how to get involved, how to get your kids involved. Give us a call. Speak to the professionals here and take the advice, inshallah. On that point, let's take the first caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, brother. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Abdul. I'm just calling from Manor Park.
Yes.
My name is Abdul Muni. I just wanted to say, I asked a question to one of the coaches there as well. I think it's Afsabai. Well, I went to see one of the games that they played in Marland FC, and I was really impressed the way the whole team played, and our whole atmosphere was amazing. Yeah. And I was quite interested because I've got a little brother. He wanted to actually join the football team, so I was wondering what route he can take to get in touch with you guys.
I'll leave to you.
Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Manim bhai. Jazakallah for phoning.
If you could just turn your TV down a little bit, please, brother.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, joining Man FC is very simple, and I hope you can sort of take the details down from our website.
Yeah.
So everything's there.
Which is what? What is the website?
It's manorfc.com. So www.manorfc.com. We're also part of a project called The Shade. So if you can't access Manor FC, you can always go onto the Shade website, and our details are there. But just simply, the sessions that we run, if I can briefly just mention,
yes, of course.
Every Sundays we have our sessions at Wanstead Flats from 2 o'clock till about 7. And obviously when it gets a bit darker, we're going to take you to local Astro pitches. But if you want, you can bring your the person in question to come and train with us on that day.
But just go onto the website, all the details.
Go onto the website, there's
there.
Details there. Abdul Salik, who's our secretary, he will take the details and then you can pass them on to me. But simply just bring them along and then we'll get them involved.
Them and get them
absolutely.
Okay, I hope that answered the...
Okay, Jazakallah, thanks for that.
Thank you for calling, brother. Now, brother, sorry, I was just going to mention just before, we were sort of talking on the whole discipline aspect, because football, it does teach you discipline as well. Yeah. Now, obviously, since you've been training them for the last however many years now, what sort of improvements have you seen in these kids?
In their behaviour?
In their general behaviour, not just footballing skills, but just generally.
Socially as well.
One of the things, I mean, I've been fortunate to be coaching all the players since year 7, I believe, from primary school, so going back sort of 6 years ago.
Okay.
And personally, I've seen a lot of improvements, and because I'm always talking to the parents and see how they're doing with their education. In fact, I've had a couple of parents phone me back and say, Coach, thank you very much for supporting them with their sort of education. A few years back, we sort of worked with Swanley School in Tower Hamlets, where we took all the players to do arts and crafts, and this was when you were sort of 13, 14 years old. So we used to travel from Newham all the way to Tower Hamlets every single Thursday, and we did that for 12 weeks. they got qualification, they got certificate, and at the end of it, the treat was we arranged a tour at the Emirates Stadium. So they, at the age of 13, 14,
not that it's a good idea to be an Arsenal fan.
There isn't. Yeah.
He supports Liverpool, so
I don't think any of us actually do. Do you?
Yeah. That's a good guy.
But for me, it was more about showing these guys. I mean, it's always been a platform. I've never gone out there and said, okay, as a coach, this is what I achieved. For me to achieve what I've achieved with the team, it's taken a number of people to actually help me with that platform. Now, going back to the question.
On a hypothetical situation, if one of the players was to misbehave, what would be the consequences? What would you do to rectify that?
There is policies and procedures. What we have within the team is mentors. We also have the captains who would act as a point of contact. But going back to the sort of question, if they did mess around, for example, if they, I don't know, if they swore or if they had fights within a match, they automatically get 3 bans for going forward from there. They will also get a letter given to the parents. There's also a fine. So if they get a yellow card, there's a £15 fine. If they get a red card, they get £25, which they have to pay. Now, bearing in mind, EMA was taken a long time ago. I have, to be fair, over the last sort of 5-6 years, I've probably just issued 2 letters for disciplinaries. The rest has been, I'm not going to say the angels, because I'll be lying, but they have sort of.
No, but even angels become devils on the pitch. When you're playing, it's one of those things.
Absolutely. But what you've got to remember is about sort of the passion.
Yeah, of course, exactly. That's what it is. Exactly.
It's about sort of, as players, the passion takes over, and as a coach, as a manager, I have to remember my role and my responsibility, and I have to take sort of steps that will, if for example, if Scott or Redwan or Asan, if they went and punched someone, me punching them don't make no difference. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So what do I do? I have to have
explain it. Of course.
So there is a procedure.
And what I meant is outside of football. Say, for example, if you were finding out that one of your players was getting into trouble, with the police or the local authority or something.
I work with the schools very closely. So luckily I've been fortunate to have all my students all the pupils, the players from the school. So the students of the school. Now I work with the head teachers. In fact, I also did some activities with the Newham and Tower Hamlets connections, Young People Services, PAYP, which is positive activities for young people. So I do work closely with the community and with the police. So if there were any issues, and there's been a couple of incidents where the players have been arrested. No one from here, so don't worry. So they were arrested, but I had to go and sort of give a character reference and tell them, how I.
If I can maybe start with Mohammed Ridwan here, that I think one of the typical sort of concerns among Asian parents generally is that if you focus too much on football, your education is going to suffer. Now, is that something that you could say, like, if you, for example, you said you've been playing football for a long time now. Does that mean your education has suffered in any way?
If you start off telling us with what you do right now, are you in school, college?
Oh, I'm going to apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship, to do?
Construction.
Construction, okay, good stuff. So how do you feel that that's fitting in with your football?
Well, football I do on the weekdays where I'm always free.
Okay.
So.
But would you say that has an impact in your education?
Because like I said,
no,
Asian
no, you haven't got. What it is basically, when I'm free, I always play football. On a weekend, I'm always free to go play football, so it doesn't affect my education anyways.
If I was to ask the same thing to Scott, I mean, would you say playing football, sort of, striving for whatever your passion was, has in any way affected your education or progressing in education?
Well, to be honest, I see it in 2 different ways, to be honest. Like, I see football is something I do as a hobby, and education is your lifetime.
You've got to do,
So the way I do it is, obviously, if I go to college, what I'm studying now is PE, so I can obviously become a football coach. When I'm in college, I'll do my work, and obviously when I have my free time or breaks, I'll go and play football.
Do you find that the football tires you out from your education, or do you find that it helps you and keeps you more alert?
Well, I have a structure, to be honest. I wouldn't go out and just work and then go out and play a little bit of football. I'll just do full football and tire myself out for the college.
It's a discipline thing. And again, I'd ask, I guess the same question to you, Asawai. Have you had parents sort of express that concern, especially from the Asian parents, that look, you're going to mess up my kid's future because he's going to be focusing on football now. He'll never make it as the next,
Some do, I must say. I mean, I've had parents come and take the child from the matches, and this is going back to when they were younger. And I think what it's like Scott and Redwan mentioned is having that balance. It's finding the balance. As parents, we have to guide them. So, you know, I've got a little one that I take to football training, etc. So I do at home, I have a timetable where I know exactly what he's doing and what time he needs to do them at. So I think as parents, we need to get involved. But I wouldn't say it actually affects it. In fact, going back to your point, it actually motivates them. Because if they come to my matches, and I get a call from the parents saying they've not done the education or they've not sat in an exam, he's not playing. I don't care how good he is, and they'll vouch for that. You know, I don't take nonsense from them. At the same time, I'm their friend. I do support them, but I've always said to them that football has to be a secondary hobby.
And the other thing again about football, and since you're a coach, have you found that, for example, sometimes kids when they're growing up, they're going through various emotions, they're various things. Because you've built that trust with them through football, that they find it easier to talk to you than maybe their brothers or anyone, friends and family. I mean, have you sort of experienced that as well?
Totally. I mean, I'll put my, I look at Red One. I've had calls from Red One when he was moving houses and when he needed a job, etc. And first person, and I was actually chuffed and actually respected him, the fact that he called me and he said, called me and Afsar, bro, can you support me? Can you take me down to help me with the moving? Or in fact, he was stuck, I think Tower Hamlet somewhere where someone was supposed to pick him up and they didn't. I was in New. I mean, his mum was there. He called me and I went there and picked him up. So yeah, there is that trust, and I think it's very important that for me as a manager, like I said to you before, it's not about me saying, well, I'm the manager. There is a time and place where you have to come and speak to me. I have an open door policy where they would come and I've been on the phone to these guys past midnight, where I'm encouraging them and supporting. When they took the exams, I was more petrified, more worried about what they're going to get, and I was on the phone to them. I said, make sure you sleep early, do your exam, do your revision, and if any training was actually affecting or coming in the way of their education, khalas, I would have them come to the training.
Now we are coming towards the end of this segment. Now, just for maybe the viewers who've just tuned in, just watching, if people want to get involved, again, with Manor FC, what's the best way and how do they get involved?
Okay, the best way is I would actually urge the parents to spend a bit more time researching, because it's about the parents finding the best club for the child. Manor FC is one of the clubs, and I believe as a coach that they should come to us, but I'll leave it up to the parents. But if they want to get involved, very simple, www.manorfc.com, where all our details are on there, all the updates and all the forthcoming matches, etc. And we're also part of a project called Shade, which again, they can go onto that website and all the information.
And just as a manager and a mentor, what would you say to the parents out there that are trying to keep their children away from stuff like this?
I would say think twice before you stop them from keeping them away from such activities as footballs, because if you stop them doing the football, there's things that they like, be ready to be challenged for something else, or actually faced with more difficulties, because if they give up one thing, promise they'll actually go and do something else. So you rather actually keep them occupied with something that you know they're good at and also they enjoy doing. So
thank you very much for that, inshallah. Now we have come to we're going to be going for a very short break now, inshallah, but do stay tuned and see you after the break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Young and Gifted. Today we're joined by our hosts from Manor FC Football Club. Today we're discussing about it's a continuation of something that we've discussed before about unruly children and what they get up to when they're not in any kind of activities and how to keep children off the street. Now Manor FC, they've done very well in promoting football, and they've got an excellent club who have had many players scouted by the bigger teams. If we can just go over to Afsar Bhai, who comes to watch these games? Do you have scouts? Have any players from your team made it out?
A lot of players have. If I can just get Hassan into this sort of conversation, and he's actually playing for a semi-pro team at the moment.
Excellent. Okay.
And if you just want to share your experience of how he's got in and support he's got from Manor FC, and that will kind of explain, and then I'll maybe answer that. So
Hassan, how long have you been playing for Manor FC?
I started playing football for about 3 years.
Okay.
And started training with Man FC. I worked my way up.
How did you get into it, if you don't mind me asking?
Man FC?
No, football for 3 years. You've only been playing for 3 years.
I literally got in by watching the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
2010. It's a great World Cup.
And it's an inspiration.
I got more interested into football. So then I started training every day. go local park, train myself, and yeah, then found about Man FC with my friends. In there, start training, playing football. Then from last year, going to a semi-professional team, Tower Hamlets district, and now it's linked with the college Tottenham Foundation.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, so we train.
What is Tottenham Foundation?
It's like a football course, college course. It's linked with the college. So we train in the morning, and then we have sports theory lessons in the afternoon. And then
is it linked to the football club or
to
Tottenham Football Club?
Tottenham.
Okay.
You just started that this year, right?
Yeah, I just started that in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where could you progress? Is it something like you could be scouted by Tottenham?
Yeah, if you're good enough, they give you send you trials for Tottenham.
Okay.
Like the actual team, and then there's other teams scouts coming in to watch games, so it gives you a good chance of getting progressing yourself into a good.
And how big a part do you think that Man FC played in this progression of yours?
Great part, because with Man FC, I started playing football.
So they set the foundations
with Man FC.
Yeah.
And then
how do your parents feel about what you do?
Well, they feel very happy, confident.
Okay. They're supportive, yeah?
Yeah, they're very supportive.
Do your parents go and watch the games?
Yeah, sometimes they do.
Oh, good stuff.
Excellent. And again, I guess Scott as well. I mean, have you been scouted, or is this something that you're looking to take further? Football, or is it more of a hobby, or have you been scouted, or?
Oh yeah. For me, like I said before, football, it's more of a hobby, but I would also take it. So if there is a chance where I do make it, I'll go for it. Obviously, I've been scouted before a few times. I've played for Simrab, if you've heard of them before.
Okay.
John Terry, as obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
I played. I started when I was 8, and I finished when I was 14. From 14, I've carried on to Man FC from there. I've played for district. I have been scouted for Tottenham. So it's a lot of experience right there.
Excellent.
And I am actually enjoying football, but obviously college and.
So you're actually getting Premier League clubs coming to these matches and looking for potential players?
What we do, the way it works is we would send out applications. So when a player is at a level where he can go and perform at the trials, so they would go. Luckily, sometimes we get them coming over to us.
Okay.
So if there's any tournaments, like for example, we we haven't got the cup here, but when we played against Valence FC at Milan Stadium, we won 5-1, and they're semi-pro team. Now, they've been together for the last sort of 15 to 20 years. Okay. So they've been run for a long time. They have a lot of money in terms of funding. So to sort of compete against a team like Valence FC, Man FC went there sort of as underdogs, because obviously we're from Manor Park and from Newham, and we're playing against a team in Tower Hamlets. The guys went out there and they played fantastic football. We have professionals come to watch those matches.
How often have you had scouts at your games?
We've had over the sort of last 6 years, 5-6 years. We've had the players have actually gone on to trials, through the club and sort of attending sessions either at the professional clubs or colleges. But in terms of Hackney Marshes and Victoria Park and Milan Stadium, every year there's at least 2 visits made. We don't know. This is the thing. It's like mystery shoppers. They would come unannounced, because what they want to do is they don't want to come sort of pre-announced, so that we kind of
prep the players.
Everyone's got their hair gelled up.
They want to see basically, but they want to see them in action. They want to see what they're like, not just football. And it's going back to sort of the early part of the show where it's about discipline,
of course.
It's about commitment, it's about passion. They have to tick all those boxes first. So we've had visits.
How do you find the scouts receive you? Because obviously there is a conception that Asian players don't make it,
and they're not good enough, basically.
I think that they're honest. I don't think they come with the intention that I'm going to pick today, I'm going to get 3 white players and put all the Asians or the blacks to one side. What they do tell me is this, that a lot of the times when they do select a player from the Asian community, whether it's be Pakistani or Bangladeshi or Indian, etc., it's the parents that actually put the barriers in front of them. And I'll give you an example where Scott, would go to those trials. His dad would be there 2-3 hours before the matches. They would have breakfast or lunch, whatever they need to. Our son will go on his own if he has to, and that demonstrates his commitment. I mean, his grandfather's been supporting since he's been with Man FC, and he's come to a number of games, and believe it or not, he's sort of hitting his 80 sort of 80 years old.
Yeah.
So you can see that he's 80 years old and he's still having the opportunity to come in and support the.
So it's not that the Asian players are not good enough. It's the
don't push them.
It's the support from the back, basically.
It's the support, whether it's from the parents, whether it's from the school, whether it's from the community, whether it's they're influenced by their friends or drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. It's something that's pulling us back. I know a lot of people say there's a lot of racism.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics within these industries. Give me one industry where there isn't politics.
Yeah.
I'm Muslim. In my local mosque, full of politics.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's the other barriers that they're actually stopping the parents.
So you're a manager of Manor FC. How did you get that role?
I was actually, when we put the club together, believe it or not, I didn't actually go there and say, well, I'm going to put this club, I'm going to find the players, make me the chairman. I was actually selected by the committee. At the time, there was about 12 to 15 members. And out of those guys, we did as you would in an organisation, you kind of select and you have a vote. And through the voting system, I was selected the manager. And it's been like that for the last 6 years. And I guess and again, it's what I said earlier, it's not about me doing all the hard work and get all the trophies. It takes a number of people. It takes all my committee members, but more importantly, I think it takes my players to get what's on the table. I can talk all day long, but if they don't go and perform, then it's irrelevant.
So how far are you planning on taking this? Because I know in order to become a manager, you need certain badges, don't you? Coaching badges.
I've got my level sort of FA qualifications.
Okay.
I'm qualified sports leader, FA qualified coach. I'm planning on doing a referee, which is something I'm very passionate about because I'm not a control freak, but I like to have my own structure. I'm not my guy. But I do have, I see a lot of referees because referees have costed us so many games. And referees.
That's what every manager says.
True, but when you see it from an outside point of view, and I think it's important. It's not about losing the match. It's about making sure that the principles. Because when I take my team out there, I don't care if they don't bring me trophies back to the club. It's about going and learning and sort of educating how the system works. And if I have professionals not sort of doing what they're supposed to be doing, forget the scores, it's about learning. And
now,
for me,
with Asian football, maybe it goes back to the whole scouting issue, but obviously in the last 10 years, maybe we've had like 2 Asian possible footballers. I remember Chopra, who used to play for Cardiff and stuff. When do you reckon a time will come when maybe the Asian will actually break into the scene? Because do you think the Asian community as a whole have actually embraced football as a possible profession rather than a Sunday morning football, just a game?
I don't think it's quite got there yet. I think it is slowly getting there. I mean, if you look at sort of Thai Hamlets, you've got Bangladesh Football Association, who I'm part of, and they have an academy, and you've got their Sporting Bengal. They're doing really well in the league that they're playing in. So there are really, really good talented players. The reason why I guess it won't happen very soon is because we still need to find a community that's going to support. Because what's happening at the moment, if you look at Thai Hamlets, you've got so many different projects trying to do the same thing, but it's kind of going the opposite direction. It's like you've got magnets, and you put the magnets together. Magnets the same thing, but you put them together and you go the opposite direction. And this is what's happening, unfortunately, where we have brilliant projects out there in Thai Hamlets, but the only thing is we are not working together. So whether it's to do with our religious background or cultural background, we are just not working, and as a result,
so you think there needs to be more community cohesion, basically?
Absolutely, it has to be. It has to be, and I think it's about if we can get one person break through the system and get it into.
That's what it needs.
That's all it needs, right?
It needs that one role model.
We need one role model to actually go out there and say, look, guys, I've done it, and then hopefully, inshallah, then the rest will follow. But like I said, it does take a lot from the community to support.
Just on that point, I'd like to just invite our viewers again. For those of us who are watching, I guess if you're young and you want to get involved with something like football club, give us a call. Speak to the representatives from Manor FC here. See how they've got involved. If you live in especially the Newham area, give us a call. Definitely, this is probably something that you could get involved in. If you're a parent and you want your kids to get involved, give us a call. Studio number 0203 397 4740. Now, sorry, just. Obviously, there's going to be people here, for example, who are thinking they don't have this in their area. Maybe they want to set something up. They want to. How easy is it to just set up a football club and join a league? and start playing?
It's really easy, and I think the key point I need to make is starting any projects, any activities is very simple. It's how you maintain it. I mean, I could have done it back in 2006 or whenever I started the project, and I could have just taken a back step and let someone run it. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sort of passionately follow my sort of the project. Now, if they want to get involved, it's very simple. There is loads of funding available in Tower Hamlets across London as well. The FA are giving money out. They just need to find a platform of people that are interested in the sports, and just kind of get a few brothers and sisters involved and arrange meetings and put something together. And again, if they want to get more involved with our project, by the way, Manor FC isn't because we're from Manor Park, and again, and this goes back to the reason why I created this platform. As you know, a lot of youngsters would regard their area as a manor to them. It's a term they use, whether you're from Hackney, from Tower Hamlets, from Redbridge. So I then put this on my players and said, guys, why don't we call it Manor? Yes, we're part of, we're in Manor Park, but we don't necessarily have to call ourselves Manor Park FC. We call it Manor FC. So if we've got someone from coming, in fact, we had people from Enfield in our senior team coming to play for the team, and again, Manor.
If we can just take our next telephone call, please.
If we could, next call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I was calling from Forest Gate.
Okay.
My name is Lutfur Rahman Said.
Okay.
It is very nice program, I can see that.
Thank you very much.
I believe it is very wise idea to do this sort of program, particularly like young talented football players.
Sure.
In my idea, if you do this sort of program, encourage the young boys doing the professional way. I was very much interested about you thinking about to become a highly professionals.
Sure.
I think the one thing it is one of the coach, maybe the gentleman, he just pointed that you have to follow one role model.
Yeah.
Somebody like get into the cross the barrier, come to the in a premiership, one of the has to be followed one of the key rules. Then they may come out cross the barrier.
Of course.
In my idea, doing this sort of program, it is very good.
Thank you very much.
Because in our community, our generation, we didn't. Your generation and the younger generation, if you pick them up right now, it is the time you can cross the barrier and you will be successful, I believe.
Inshallah. Thank you very much for your call there. Excellent.
I actually really like that point he said, and I think it does make a difference. Once we have that breakthrough, inshallah, the rest will follow.
And this is why, Asif and I are doing what we're doing here, just to highlight that whether it be football or, any other activities, there are a lot of successful youngsters out there. And they just need to see that, look, it can be achieved, and there's so many children out there with potential that don't get the opportunities to move it forward, whether it be for social reasons, whether it be lack of support from their parents, whether it be because of their friends. There's so many elements to the equation that children can't seem to move forward with whatever it is that they want to achieve.
If we can take the next caller as well, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, wa alaikum salam. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manor Park.
Yes, what's your question, comment?
My name is Saha. I want to ask Asin Ali.
Okay, yes.
When did he start to play football?
When did he start playing football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Started playing football about 3 years ago, just after watching the World Cup 2010, and I carried on training myself, and I'm proud where I am now today.
Any other questions, little one?
Any other questions, caller?
Okay, I think he probably Yeah, I think you're already on the route to becoming a role model already. And you think you've already had that little one calling. So, but yeah, no, definitely. I think it is something where, and I think this is probably where Asian communities fail, that where we see progression, let's highlight that, let's honour that. Because once you start highlighting, honouring that, not only is it giving confidence to these young kids, that wait a minute, we're actually being, people are actually appreciating our advancements, it will push them that much further to then take it to the next level. And I think that's something that we're failing on. If we can take the next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sadiq. I'm calling from Goodmage.
Yes, what's your question or comment?
Can I speak to Asafai, please?
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sadiq. I'm listening.
How you doing? You're right. You looking nice on TV.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah. I didn't come for that, but Jazakallah for that comment.
Now, I'm very impressed with the young people's achievements as well, and of course the work you're putting in as well. Very impressed, and of course I think we need more people out there to take lead as well. And of course, what else can I say?
I mean, sorry, how old are you? If you don't.
I'm 24.
24. Now, when you were, for example, growing up, is this something that you would have thought of, or were these opportunities available at that time?
To be honest, I've actually started off with Man FC when I was about 17.
Oh, okay.
Me and Asafai, he got me on board, and he's been mentoring me and he's kept me off the streets. And also about the education-wise, I was able to balance college. I also went uni, graduated, and while I was playing for Man FC.
If you didn't get involved with Man FC, what would you have been doing, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll probably be more on road, hanging around.
Just do nothing really, isn't it?
Shouldn't be.
Sure. See, I think this caller again demonstrates.
Thank you for the call, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It demonstrates how important it is to give children something to do. Now, I do want to make it very clear to the viewers that, we're not suggesting that everybody that plays Sunday League football is going to make it professional. The guys that we've had on here today are exceptionally talented. And their success stories that we've brought on here to encourage other youth out there that, look, it can be achieved. But what we're here to promote is to say that, look, do something productive with your time. Get off the streets, play football. It will, burn up your energy.
I think it's more the social benefit.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just that the individual benefit, because possibly a scout's going to come and watch him, but it's the community that actually will benefit because he's not on the road. He's not getting up to nonsense.
Totally. And if you look at sort of Scott and Assam, if they weren't part of Manor FC, they probably have never met him.
No,
do you know what I mean? Because this it does create
breaks boundaries.
It does break boundaries, and we're quite fortunate to actually have players that are really disciplined and through our work.
If we can just take the next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Yes, what's your question or
comment?
Can you
hear me? Just want to say, love your show. I have a couple of questions, but before I ask my questions, just want to say well done. I love it when people set up activities for children to be involved with. Obviously, it's giving them an alternative rather than to stay on the streets and do something negative. And gives the opportunity to do something positive. But my question is, first of all, how do you go about promoting what you do so children know that these services are available? And second of all, obviously, it's not about winning and making it big, but obviously all the benefits there is, they have a role model to look up to. So your staff also, are there any procedures in place to ensure that your staff are, adequately trained, and will be providing a positive
environment,
be a positive role model, so forth.
Thank you very much, sister, for that call. I'll pass it off straight to Taswir.
Definitely. Jazakallah for the call.
Thank you.
The first question was, how does a player get involved?
How is it promoted?
Basically, from my point of view, from Man's point of view, we work in all the youth centres in Newham, so we're very much in contact with the local community. We also have sort of charity organisations come in and promote our service within their companies. We also run charity tournaments where we actually invite players, not just footballers. We actually have sort of fun day activities where people can just come and take part. And at the same time, we promote the service.
And just very quickly on the second question.
Yeah. And on the second question, all our staff are CRB checked. So currently is a
so
DBS.
The children are safe.
So the children are safe, and they are regularly monitored. Either by myself or our mentors, etc. And the people that provide the funding for us, they also come and monitor.
So you have like a due diligence process where everything is followed.
We wouldn't able to do it otherwise.
Now, thank you very much for that. Again, look, we'll put it out to you guys watching. I hope you're finding this show very useful. And if you've got any questions, give us a call again. The studio number running across the screen, 0203 397 4740. Give us a call, inshallah. Again, we'll be going for a very short break, but see you after the break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our episode today on Young and Gifted, where we've been discussing about youth initiatives and youth projects just initiatives which are available out there for our kids to get involved so that they're off the streets. They're not getting up to, into sort of any antisocial behaviours, etc. And just before the break, obviously we were speaking to members of Manor FC, a football club based in East London, and speaking to some of the players and how this club and through this club, not only have these kids excelled in the football, but they've also excelled in their education aspect and just general discipline throughout their lives. And just it's helped to keep them off the roads, off the streets, and just not getting up to any nonsense. Now, Manor FC is obviously one of the projects of The Shade, and just on that point, inshallah, I'd like to invite just our new guest today. So obviously we've still got Aftar Bhai, still back on there again. We've got Brother Moin Uddin, Shaykh al-Islam Moin Uddin, and Brother Saeed, who are all part of Manor FC. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show. Now, if we just start off, obviously we've been discussing with Brother Aftar, who sort of runs the whole Manor FC aspect, the football club aspect, but The Shade is a lot bigger than just the football aspect. Just tell us how this whole initiation of Shade and how it started and what's the whole thinking behind it.
Just a little bit about what you do as well.
Yeah.
Okay, the main concept of Shade was to create a platform. It's based on the hadith where Prophet ﷺ said that 7 people will be shaded on the day of judgment. On the day there will be no other shade. And if you look into the hadith, you will see that there's 7 types of people who enter paradise through the mercy of Allah. And they're not all just worshipping Allah, they're not just praying, rather 7 different aspects, and that is the basis. SHADE stands for Social, Health, Aid, Development, Education, and that's what is our main principle. Manor FC is one of our projects focusing on the social and health aspect. Alhamdulillah, in the UK there are many masajids, many madaris, and they are all doing good work. But unfortunately, they are only focusing on our spiritual needs and religious needs. While Islam accommodates all aspects of our lives, and we know that our body is an amana, and we will be questioned about our body. Unfortunately, the Muslims across the world, they are the unhealthiest people in the world, while the whole world is promoting, health and fitness.
We discussed this on our last episode about the illnesses that Muslims and Bengalis in general face, heart diseases and high blood pressure and diabetes and that sort of stuff, which is prevalent in Southeast Asians, mainly Bengalis, Pakistanis and Indians.
Now I guess that's probably one of the reasons why Manor FC was started, not just to just create a football club, but also the health aspect taken into issue. Now I can see, just before actually we go on, let's take a few more callers because I don't want to really keep them holding as well. If we can take the next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum caller. Hello.
You're live on air if you can hear us. Okay, inshallah.
I think we've lost the call.
Okay, I think the call may have lost. But what I was going to just point out here, because you've got this big bow and arrow here, and I'm assuming one of you guys is probably Robin Hood here. Now, what's the idea behind this? I mean, I guess this is a really big.
You're holding it wrong way, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Down.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Hold on, did you not suggest that you can actually get Apple and?
Yeah, I don't think I've got my life insurance just yet. But just explain to us, what is this? What is this one of the, is this something you teach at The Shade or?
This is one of our initiatives, like Manor FC, which is a football club. We have an archery club, which is a fully registered archery club in London.
What is it called?
A Lofty Aim Archery Club.
Okay.
And the objective was to use archery, like we use football, as a platform to bring in youth, to take them off the streets, and provide something constructive for them to do. And alhamdulillah, with the archery club, we have children from as young as 5 to adults up to 60, 70. They can all, on the same line, they can shoot together. So it's a platform and using archery as a sunnah to combine and work together.
Just on the platform, we've got the caller back again. If we could take the next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Hello, hi. I'm actually a parenting practitioner who works in Manor Park.
Okay.
And I work a lot with families and go into schools and children's centres, etc. And what really makes me upset and, really, is a cause of concern for myself as a practitioner and as a Muslim is a lot of our girls are really discouraged from doing sports, because of, all the, especially Asian, South Asian girls, for example, Bengalis, Pakistanis and Indian girls. And whenever girls are, have these amazing, skills and are so athletic, they're not allowed to go forward with it because of pressures from home. And I think it's really, sad to see because, when they grow up, they need to look after their health and, when they, become pregnant or, later on in life, a lot of Asian women, they kind of, just kind of let go of themselves and not as health conscious as, for example, Western, women. And, and they do end up having a lot of, diseases such as diabetes and arthritis, etc. So I think, what I would love to see and what we should all kind of encourage is for our Bengali community or Muslim community to really focus on girls' well-being as well, not just boys.
Definitely. We agree.
And, this program is great. It's like a great way to get the ball rolling and, Shade, I live nearby Shade, so I see a lot of the things, the great work that they do. But it'd be really good to do a bit of outreach to, families with girls and really help and explain to parents what the benefits of getting into sports are, and they don't have to mix with boys. They can, they can be segregated. They don't have to wear T-shirts, and often families, because the generation before have never been open to sports, so they think, oh, if she goes swimming, she has to wear, a swimming costume. If she goes, does a certain type of sport, she has to show her legs and her arms. So, that type of education would be great. And then there's a lot of, girls, we're like second generation British, Bangladeshis. So we, there's so many volunteers out there that can go out and, help parents who've come from abroad or, parents who don't want to.
Thank you very much, sister. Jazakallah khair for your call and comment. Perhaps I can just ask the Moin here, do you have activities or anything happening for our sisters as well, to keep their, for their health, well-being and for their health as well?
To be honest, our community centre, the Shade Centre, most of the activities are actually for girls and women. Okay. We've done beginners courses for women. Or open days. We have open days.
Beginners courses for
archery.
Archery. Okay.
We've held open days, or anyone.
And these are taught by female instructors.
Female instructors in single gender environment.
So how many females do you have attending, if you don't mind me asking?
Last open day we had probably about 80 people come. Ladies with their children. So the open day is actually more popular with the sisters. We also have sisters fitness classes. Which is very popular as well, aerobics and multi-sports. And one unique thing that we have is our old ladies Tea club fitness class. Over 50. And
do you have a large number coming to those?
We get about 30-40 regularly.
Wow.
They've taken it on because unfortunately there's limited facilities for sisters. So when we open up the facilities for sisters, they came running. Alhamdulillah, it's very successful.
Can I just add on that? Sorry, just to say to the sister that made the phone call, it's really amazing to actually see sisters coming up with ideas.
Of course.
I would strongly urge the sister to come in contact with.
Get involved with you guys.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was going to say. If she can go on our website, there is a form that she can fill in or leave the contact details. And one of our sisters who is in charge will be in contact with her. But also just to let her know that as part of Manor FC, we're actually also trying to put together a female football team to start very soon, inshallah. Next summer is the plan. Excellent. So I'm going to speak to Brother Moin and decide and sort something out for the sisters. But it's
now, obviously, just before we move further, obviously, the Shade is encompasses very various activities that you do, various projects that you run as well. Now, inshallah, just for the benefit of our viewers, inshallah, we'd just like to show you a very short clip of some of the activities that are running at the Shade. But just before that, inshallah, if we just take the next caller and then we can show the clip. Next caller, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
If you actually mute your TV and just talk into, because we can actually hear something.
Yeah. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shakil. Howard Shade.
Sorry, Shakil, what was the question?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shakil.
Wa alaikum salam.
I am 7. How would Shade help little children like me be a better Muslim?
Oh, mashallah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's for Saeed here.
I mean, within Shade, there's many sort of projects that run within it. So even for youngsters, they can come in as well. So we're trying to do projects where it's not limited to any age group as well. And if it's something, obviously, it's not safe for kids to do, then it's for adults. And even when it's for adults, we sort of look for every age group. So even like Moeen mentioned about the over 50s club, because generally, like within the Asian community, you get like, the mothers and stuff, or after they're married, that's it, they're just sitting at home and they've got nothing to do. Most of them, they go through depression and things like that. So for them, there's that. And then for the youth, we have the Silat, which runs on Sundays. So there's a youngster session for an hour. And
just for the benefit of the viewers, what is Silat?
So I think Moeen would be more equipped to answer that.
Silat is a martial art developed in the Muslim lands of Malaysia and Indonesia.
Okay.
Why we chose Silat is because we want to not only teach them martial art and to learn to defend themselves, but also to create and develop the identity, the sense of belonging. And that's why we chose this particular art.
So was this for females or?
At the moment, is for children from 5 onwards, and then we have adult session. We've actually done for women, we've done a self-defense course. So that was a 12-hour session on how to defend themselves. Sisters walking down the road.
Taught by sisters?
Taught by sisters. All our sisters' classes are single gender, women only, women instructors.
Excellent.
And that course was aimed towards sisters who go, as you can see in this modern day and age, a lot of women are often targeted, Muslim women are often targeted. So this course was to allow them to be able to defend themselves and not to stand and fight, rather to get away, how they can get away. So we're not making them into
warriors,
rather how they can defend themselves.
Now just on that point, inshallah, let's watch the clip, inshallah, for the benefit of the viewers, of some of the activities that are currently being run at the Shade.
Feeding.
In London or?
In London, Stratford. No, Silat.
Shout out to Seema. Okay.
So as you've seen from the little clip there, the Shade do offer a lot of different activities. One of the activities that I did want to pick up on was the feeding of the homeless. Which I understand that the Shade Centre do. If you could just tell us a little bit more about that.
It's a soup kitchen, isn't it?
It is a soup kitchen. What we found is when Brother Moin and got the brothers together during Ramadan, I believe it was, we decided to go and feed the poor, but not to go to Bangladesh and send money to Afghanistan, etc. To bring the charity to our own doorstep, and also targeting the people that are really homeless and not necessarily Muslims, or they're from the same community. So we thought, okay, we're going to go to Stratford. We actually gave out free food to all the homeless people, and believe it or not, when they came and approached us and they spent 2 minutes just talking to us, it made us feel as if we've done so much for them. And in fact we did, because they probably were hungry for the whole day. It was really a horrible day, it was really windy, and when they ate the food, they came back and they gave us lots of hugs and told us that, you know, that they didn't expect this from the brothers who, you know, came all the way. We're hungry, so we explained that we're fasting, but yet on the day of fasting, Ramadan, we're feeding people and serving food with our own hands. So
how often?
So let's just take another call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes,
young man, I'm so happy to see you dealing with these things. I participated, I'm a senior Muslim. I participated in youth work long before, early 80s. And I like to mention a few of the things, only kids. And I'm very glad that you are doing this. It's something, a subject very close to my heart.
Thank you very much.
Just came home, I had lots of other things to do, but I couldn't stop myself talking to you people. In the 80s, we did in East London, alhamdulillah, a good job. And the youth organization we named was YMO, Young Muslim Organization. You might have heard of it.
Brother, just to stop you there, we are running very close to the end of the show. If you can just make it very quick, inshallah, in the next 20 seconds, your point.
We feel that orientation is very necessary to nurture this young man. And for orientation, we had 3 circles, and we had 8 shared circles, 10 in each. So 80 boys we are doing these things. And we had all these activities you are saying. But with these activities, there was orientation. We could call them training program. And we'd have in the weekends, some weekends, long weekends, take them to the mosques and have seminars, or teach them basics of Islam and rest of it. Anyway, I have an article on how we did it with our study circle, but I don't think I can send it to you.
Okay.
I don't know anybody's email, otherwise I would have sent it to you.
No problem, inshallah.
That is a very good part in orientation.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you've got any questions that you'd like to pass on to us, you can always email us at Young and Gifted.
No, there's no question. I was just telling you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Even any article that you want to pass over to us for future shows, you can email us at...
I wish you listened to me, Sam. I want to tell you that we did these things in the 80s, and we had a vast experience about it.
Okay, inshallah.
Now, those boys who are with us, they became barristers, doctors, engineers, successful people.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, brother, for your call. We are unfortunately running to the end of the show. Otherwise, it would have been great to just sort of carry on speaking and inshallah, you know, touching on the experiences that you have.
As we were discussing before the call came in, how often do you do this soup kitchen?
The soup kitchen initially was a pilot project. So alhamdulillah, the response we got was amazing. Now we want to do it more often now. That's why one of the reasons we are appealing to more youngsters to come and give a little bit of your time and give back to the community. And that's what we're trying to do. And to be honest, we need more support.
Now we are running very close to the end. I think we've got a few minutes left now. And I've just picked up these, and I don't know if we can just maybe focus on this on the TV. It's just a couple of basically poetry books. And again, another initiative of Shade. One is called Eating Like the Prophet, which has been released in the mainstream stores as well and online. And the other one, which is a draft at the moment, but it's called Sleeping Like the Prophet. So if maybe if we can just focus on this at the moment, I guess, yeah. Now, just if I can just maybe ask Moin, what's the idea behind this? Because this is something I'm passionate about, poetry. What was the idea behind something like this?
The objective was to, as our main ethos is to develop the identity, the Muslim identity. So these two books highlight the Sunnah aspects of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but in a poetic, manner, so that children enjoyable. They find it enjoyable. Unfortunately, the mainstream books, secular education books, they're very engaging, very nice. Unfortunately, our Muslims books, they're very boring. So we wanted to create that, enjoyability, but at the same time, these books have been written and produced by local people, local youngsters. So that's one of the things.
Plus, the other thing I think you'll see with these is that not only is it just a sunnah, but it's point by point. It's actually explaining certain ways, the sunnah, but in very significant style. And I think one thing, especially amongst the youth, is that rhyming. And especially like things like rap, for example, kids always pick up on that.
That's what's popular.
You could read somebody a book, a full page or something, and 99 times out of 100 he won't remember what you said to him. Read it in a very poetic style, and he'll definitely remember some of that.
It's about engaging it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get Brother Said to give you a couple of lines from this, so just show you how.
Yeah, definitely. This is the book that is currently out at the moment.
It's been thrust upon you.
He's got the voice.
He's got the voice. Very soft.
Inshallah.
Mashallah.
We're going to have to 30 seconds, inshallah. We're running to the end of the show.
Allah Almighty made humans in perfect form. He made Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the best to be born. From his life there are inspirations to be drawn. We should follow him in the way he has shown. So this is where it actually begins. He would accept invitations even from the poor. He would seek permission before entering the door. He would greet the host and would sit on the floor. He would eat what's on offer without asking for more. I think I'll stop there because otherwise...
No, definitely.
Thank you so much for that, even though it was thrust upon you.
But I think the viewers have got a sort of glimpse and understanding of what this is about. It's trying to teach Islamic principles in a very enjoyable and fun way, which engages the kid. And I think that's what Brother Faisal was saying. It
engages the community. It brings the community together. It allows people to meet up at the Shade Centre. You'll probably meet people that you hadn't met before. For example, we saw Scott there.
Of course, and obviously, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. I think for more information, they can always go to the Shade website, which is what's the Shade website?
Theshade.org.
Okay, so it's www.theshade.org. So if you need any further information, inshallah, definitely go on there and do get involved. But Jazakallah khair, and thank you to everyone for coming today. And Jazakallah khair to everyone who has called in and shared their experiences and the comments and questions with us.
And all of our other guests as well.
Yeah, and the other guests who were there, the first segments as well. Just before we do finish, inshallah, I've been told that there is a sister Seema who has turned 14 today, and I've been told to say happy birthday, inshallah. So may Allah bless you, inshallah, and give you a long life, inshallah. But Jazakallah khair for everyone for participating in today's show. And until next time, inshallah, do look after yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.